Hello, chums. Right, today we are playing Need for Speed The Run. I've already recorded 2 hours of this. For some reason, OBS crashed the last time and it wiped an hour of it. And I had another look, and it turns out that the first hour I recorded was out of sync. So I get to play through this steaming pile of dog shit again, having already seen the previous dog shit. I'm not happy. But alas, these are the cards we are dealt. So, yeah. You may be wondering, why is this such a steaming pile of dog shit? Well, there are many reasons that I've probably already said, but I will get into once the game has started. One of the other reasons that I had so much problem with this was the audio for the game itself is basically set up like that. Race experience mix or film experience mix. There's no audio sliders, there's just that. Because this is a movie! And it wants you to know that it's a movie, and it's a fucking shit movie that's almost similar to that other Need for Speed movie that they made with that dude out of Breaking Bad. Man, I can't figure out where that movie got the idea from. But alas, we're playing this shit. Fortunately though, since the last time I recorded, which was on Thursday, and today is Saturday, and today I uploaded Terry's Gauntlet just to date this even more, I have booze. Much booze. If anyone really gives enough of a shit, you will be quick to point out, I think it's probably out by about a second, like syncing up wise, but that's getting into super hardcore nitty gritty and trying to figure out exactly where it exactly is. But to be honest, I'm happy enough just to get my audio and the webcam synced up, so hopefully it won't matter too much. It should be better than Bayonetta, which was probably out by about 3, but I didn't realise it was going to be that shit. But anyway, we're gonna play this fucking game, and like I say, I've already played 2 hours of this, so this is torture at this point. Are you ready for easily one of the not biggest mistakes? Dead Space 3 probably qualifies as one of the biggest mistakes from EA in the most recent past. Dead Space 3 is something I will get to at some point, but for mishandled property, this is up there. Yes, I do. God Christ. Oh no, fucking Jack Rock! Oh, he's your everyday dickhead. Oh, God. If you're wondering, all characters are developed in that one paragraph. 'Cause it's a movie! Why am I playing this again? Oh, Christ. Fuck off! Fuck you two! You bastards! By the way, this is as subtle as the game will get, when nothing is happening. Please be dead. Just die. Please. Oh, he's alive. We're coming up to the first major problem, and one of the reasons why this is one of very close to the worst Need for Speed game ever made. And you're going to spot it as soon as it happens. It's not that the car gets destroyed. The new movie is probably worse for that, to be fair. Or I say new, because it crashes a fucking Koenig's egg, which is shameful. Are you ready? Wait. Oh. It's only a Porsche Carrera, he'll get on with it. There it is! Do you see that? In all of its glory. Quick time events. In a racing game. Or why don't you shoot him, since you just tried to crush him in a compactor? Fuck! Anyway, we're running away now. So yeah, that's one of the... I know it might seem like a relatively inoffensive thing, but for a car game like... Enthusiast, I don't really play them much anymore. But I used to be really big on car games. Like, driving games were my bread and butter at one point. And putting fucking QuickTime events in them? That's wrong. That's just disgraceful. It shouldn't exist. But it does in this movie! Because that's all this is. Oh shit. Nope, sorry sir. Oh Jesus. Oh, it's nice of them to slow down for me. Oh look, they have guns as well. I don't know if the guns mean anything, but they have guns. Oh, it's more suspenseful that way. As they shoot at the chassis of my car and nothing else. I don't know why. But, oh, guns and shit. Also, there is a problem that I will bring up later when it's more appropriate, but you might spot it here. See if you do. Oh no, a train! Will I ever go? It was really nice of that train to wait while I crashed into that car, got shot at a few times. And yeah, that cutscene's there on every playthrough. Believe me, I know. You know, who needs organic driving in a driving game? Nah, scripted QuickTime events are what we all want. And itchy balls are also what we want, Jesus. Give me a moment. You can watch this very engaging cutscene while I rearrange my nutsack. Which is more interesting than this. Because movie!
Word is you made a wrong turn, Jack.
No one ever got ahead sitting on their hands, how did they, Sam?
Nobody from our block, at least. You know I can help you straighten that out.
And my end?
What you do best. What you do better than anyone. Right now. Yes or no?
You knew the answer before I even walked to the door.
Movie! And we're saying that a lot, by the way.
The race is from San Fran to New York. The best racers ever assembled.
Quick, run away from the racist stereotype.
Problem and give you a 10% cut.
Whoa. 10%?
purse is 25 million. Do the math.
Oh, that put him in his place, didn't it? Oh, what an ignorant, bumbling street junkie. Ah! 2.5 million is kind of peanuts in this day and age. Well, you know, to some people. Oh, look, a briefcase for a tablet. That's nice. Mystical tablet. We don't know what it does, but...
Now we have to get you a car.
Cars, I got covered.
I just don't like this game. I don't. Although the next problem's going to rear its head in a minute. Yes, 2 massive problems in the space of, I don't know, 5 minutes will pop up. And I'm going to explain the second one to you. The first one is fairly obvious. I mean, fucking quick time events in a fucking racing game is diabolical. The second one is its own thing. When it loads, oh. Oh, he's such a cool dude. Oh, he's got some warehouse with some cars in it. Brr. Yes, look at all those cars. Oh, so amazing. Guess what you can pick from? You can pick from 3 of the 5. Do you want to know why? Because 2 of them are limited edition exclusives. This is my problem. If you actually go over and have a look after you beat the game, Christ don't play this game, but if you do happen to have beaten it and you randomly decide to pick it up, put it in your Xbox, I don't know who forced you at gunpoint, but if you do, and you have a look at the My Cars list in the main menu, it shows a massive wealth of cars that you have to unlock by completing certain objectives. In the story, however, there are certain cars that are just locked behind this limited edition paywall. I'm assuming it's a paywall that you can get now because it's been out for a while, in fact 4 fucking years, although the servers are probably dead. Thank you, EA. But they are locked behind a paywall, and that is another just stupid, like, I'm sorry, your entire game revolves around fucking cars! Tracks, whatever, tracks are their own thing, but fucking cars, that your game is about fucking cars, are locked behind a fucking paywall. Shameful. So that's problem number 2. I know in this day and age when fucking, what was it? I can't remember what it's called anymore. Deus Ex just did their stupid pre-order bonus combined with crowdfunding bullshit, and other devs have done worse. This might seem like a relatively small problem, and I guess it is, but it's just so fucking shameful, especially when the cars that are locked behind the paywall, that car's the best car you can use out of all the cars you get given. And it's just, wow, okay, fantastic. If I didn't feel like paying the limited edition for your fucking shit fucking game, especially as this was after one of, I think it was post Pro Street. The Need for Speed franchise went Most Wanted, which was pretty good. Carbon, well no, Most Wanted was the best one. Carbon was pretty good. I believe it was Pro Street after that. There might have been some games in between there, but that's generally the curve I view it on. Pro Street wasn't bad, but it wasn't free roam. And that's a problem I already had with the game. Pretty much every Need for Speed after that has lacked free roam, apart from Hot Pursuit, which is the worst Need for Speed game. But it does have free roam. There's just nothing to do in this massive open free roam map. So all you can do is drive your car around in nothing. That sounds like so much fun. I don't know if that's worse or better than the lack of free roam, but it's still pretty shit. Anyway, so you get fed a bunch of meaningless stats like the top speed, the 0 to 60, the brake horsepower, which according to this means that this Shelby GT500 has 750 horsepower, which it doesn't. I don't think it ever did. I don't think it ever cost 100 grand either, unless this is like limited edition Shelby GT500, in which case, why did you pay for the license if you're going to make it 100% entirely different to the car that you paid the license for? In fact, that's another problem I have with the game, but we'll get to that at some point. I don't know. Anyway, I did this before in a 240Z, so I'm going to do it in a 240Z again, because the 240Z seemed alright. But that's carbon fibre as well. I don't believe they ever released a carbon fibre 240Z when it's, oh, I don't know, about 20, 30 years old. Okay. Again, why give you heavily modified cars to use if you're going to pay the license for the car itself? There was another game that was made, I believe, by the devs of this game, called Burnout Paradise, where they used cars that had no license and just had stats that they wanted to give to the cars, and that makes a fuck ton more sense. We're 16 minutes in, I've already done this bit, and I still get pissed off. Oh my god. It's fucking furious, fast, bollocking Vin Diesel.
There's over 200 other drivers and about 3,000 miles of asphalt between here and New York.
Sounds good to me.
I need a lot of booze by the time this is done.
Uphill or you'll miss the race.
Uphill. We're gonna get to some story problems in a minute, but first we've got to race to Knob Hill. Oh. As for actual driving itself, this game is okay. Carbon was better. Pro Street was actually surprisingly good in the driving element. It just decided to skip an awful lot of Need for Speed staples. Again, the free roam being a huge part from Most Wanted. But the driving in this is decent. You know, you just go down the road, you avoid the orange arrows that for some reason exist in this universe, despite the fact that having driven through one a couple of times in my previous attempt to play this fucking game, they don't actually stop you, they just direct you, which means that some fucking halfwit has had to program in bits of road beyond those arrows. It's almost like if they got a few more programmers in to program a bit more of the the extra road that they added in, maybe they could have a free roam area and maybe you could drive around it uninhibited by this stupid fucking shitty fucking story. But yeah, that's just me. I mean, you know, who am I? I'm just a guy who really loves Need for Speed, so you know, irrelevant, really. I'm not EA. What do I fucking know about making games? And so it begins. The race.
To get to Las Vegas in the top 150.
Copy that.
Oh, yeah. And already, story problems commence. Now, we start... Actually, I don't know where we start. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, we start about, I don't know, 208, 209, as you can see by the numbers on those cars. Okay. A, who was in first? Who declares that you start at Bell End Hill? Is there anyone standing at Knob Hill? Is there a fucker with a clipboard? Or some kind of camera jotting down who started where? Who decides where you start? Is it just when you show up? If that's the case, why didn't Slot McGee over fucking Skype say, you know what? This race has already started. Why don't you show up, like, stop fucking around with your car and drilling bits and fucking bobs into your car and go to the start of the race so that you can start the race and start in a high position. Who decided that? Was it her? Is she trying to make it harder for us? Is she trying to make... So that's the start of it, and it's just started. Things that don't make any fucking sense whatsoever. Oh, thanks, police car. Another thing that's really very bizarre about this game is I know, like, one of the things that Burnout Paradise had was it had an amazing car destruction system, which is When you went headfirst into a bollard, you went headfirst into a bollard, and you knew about it because the game slowed down, put it in black and white, and showed you crashing into the bollard and your car effectively exploding. Now, as far as I know, I could be wrong, but this is developed by exactly the same fucking company, or, you know, development studio, that made Burnout Paradise. And yet, the car sort of deformation in this game is shockingly bad. Like, it's not terrible, but there seems to just sort of be a certain marker where you crash into something and you fly off the road and die. Like, no rhyme or reason to it, but there's just certain times you fly off the road and die. It doesn't make a lot of sense, it's never really explained. 90% of the time you can crash into something, you'll be great. Like, you'll just carry on and you're alright. But, like I say, it's from the developers that developed something really very interesting and really good. They just sort of wrote it off and ignored it. Movie! So there you go. That's your premise. That's the game. You overtake people to get to a certain point. Again, you could have started earlier, you know, maybe gotten an earlier start, woken up a bit sooner. Maybe the lady could have asked to chat to you a couple of days in advance. But no, you start when you start, and you go. Fucking... So there you go. The premise of this entire fucking game already is called into immediate question. What's stopping you from starting in fucking Las Vegas? Again, is there someone with a clipboard there at the 150 mark? Is he sitting there counting off the cars? What if a car comes in 153rd? How exactly do they indicate to them that they're not part of the race anymore? Just really dumb.
What? Speak up.
Las Vegas. Top 150 or we're out.
Okay, got it.
You've already had this explained to you, but alright. Why is the frame rate so horrible? It's very odd. I'm fairly certain that's the game itself, lads. Even though it's a fucking 360 game, it was even optimised poorly! There is always the obvious question of, if I hate this game so much, why am I playing it? And it's a very, very valid question that you're perfectly, you know, within your reason to ask. Well, there's a certain love in, to ripping the shit out of terrible games. You know, it's like, even though it's been said a lot before, it's the same reason why The Room and Birdemic are so popular. Something's so apocalyptically bad that it kind of transcends it. Or, even if it doesn't transcend it, it's still interesting to look at just exactly what went so catastrophically wrong to make this steaming pile of excrement. And that's kind of where I sit. It's just like the driving is halfway solid enough that you can you can at least vaguely enjoy the gameplay. Like, it's missing a lot of gameplay aspects, but the central core of the driving bit is decent. There are many problems with it, but it's okay. You can muddle through, you can get on with it. But just laughing at the story, even, like I say, I didn't even notice the optimization on my first time round, so there's that. The draw distance seems to be oddly shit. Although part of the problem with that, again, is like when you move on to, like, with my Super PC, I can play stuff really, really, really well, and I can jack up the graphics. But when you look at stuff like this, I used to think this looked okay, and it looks pretty appalling now. Stuff just doesn't age well. So there's that to look at as well. There's sometimes analysing a train wreck is more interesting than playing a perfect game. That's just the way I look at it. But yeah, you may be thinking, well, you know, getting to 150 a spot doesn't seem hard. I mean, they could just give you, I don't know, 6 position gained races, and then you're there. You'd be right. It doesn't seem very hard, does it? In fact, it seems annoyingly trivial. Well, you know, they've got to make it that much more annoying. They can't just make it, oh yeah, you know, you just got to get to 150th and you're there. No, they've got to drag this fucker out hard. Because otherwise it would probably be about an hour long and everyone would be like, what? So, prepare for some amazing padding. When I say amazing padding, I mean fucking stupidly pointless padding that they put in because they needed to pad the game out, not because it's good. The whole point of padding is it doesn't feel like padding. It feels expertly like padding, and it's already started at stage 1. Perhaps they thought that if they implement it early enough, it won't feel like padding. But it fucking does. Make up time for what? Why do I need to make up time? Is this the time I spent having a shit? Is this the time I spent laying in bed? What am I making up time for, exactly? Where are all the other drivers? I just encountered, I don't know, what, 10 in one race? Is there that much of a gap now? Do you have to enter at certain times? Is it segmented? Many questions raised, but will never be answered. Jeez. So yeah, you just get through a time attack, and again, passing certain checkpoints means that, you know, your time increases. It's almost like it's a game, not a movie. And yeah, everything else would lead you to believe it's a fucking movie. But no, it's a game. I'm playing it with this weird controller looking jiggery. Ugh. There's numbers and shit. I don't think the speedometer's there in his eyeballs. I don't know. It's just frustrating. Again, it seems like someone wanted to make a game, and then some EA executive decided that the kids like the movie, so it's a cinematic. Even though it's not, because it's awful. The whole point of being cinematic is that you either have junky bullshit, like, you know, Bad Boys 2, or you have, you know, pretty high quality stuff that you can think about. This doesn't lend itself to either, because the junky bullshit is so junky and bullshit, you can't even enjoy it on a surface level. The only thing that really sort of brings the racing bits to life is the music, which is actually quite good. I don't mind the music, it's not terrible. And it kind of brings it forward a bit, and makes you appreciate the driving segments a little bit more. But that's about it. In fact, there is another really basic problem that, again, I'm really surprised that, again, the Burnout Paradise people kind of got wrong. Which is that I'm doing this, you know, I'm mooching along, apparently I'm doing 165. Apparently. And I say apparently because I have no indication that I'm doing 165. Like, just having a number on my screen that says, oh, you're doing 100, it could say I'm doing 300 miles an hour. It's fucking irrelevant, because it doesn't feel like it. You can do your fast-paced editing all you want, you can have your complete swoop in, and your runs just swoop in. It doesn't feel fast, in the slightest.